Distraction is a thing where it feels like you're going to this path, you want to focus your energy on this, on X, let's say. You want to put energy into it. But look, something comes up, let's say Y. And now your energy is being tempted to be channeled to this thing, which is a distraction. It tempts you and it's kind of like an attractive force. And sometimes this can be quite counterproductive, and a lot of us don't like this. We try to resist against it, and it's hard. Sometimes we feel lazy, we feel unproductive because the energy is all distributed and dispersed to a lot of the distractions. And there's so many types of distractions. So let's talk about it. First, we'll talk about modern distractions like phones, and this brings us to like social media, scrolling, all these things, porn use, all these are kind of modern distractions. They're distractions of people, certain types of people in your environment. Your environment is what dictates who you are. You are the five people you surround yourself with. If you hang out with people who are a distraction to you, who always want to hang out to have a good time, but won't let you work or anything like that, these kinds of people you have to be very careful of because your environment dictates you. And I would say this pretty much sums up a lot of the distraction, especially this and social media use, scrolling problems. Part of distraction is also internal because it's also about our boredom. It's a lot about our brains, how the brain controls everything. So if you learn to fix the brain, the part, or you can say the mind of how you view things, the distractions will be managed more effectively. It won't go away. Temptations always come, temptations are always there. But before you act on it, before it becomes a distraction, you learn to look at it from an outsider's view or perspective. So distractions, they come from where? From temptation. And if you don't control this distraction, you know what's going to happen? It forms an addiction. And the main hormone or the main chemical I would say involved is dopamine. Here's how it goes. Look, you have a temptation, right? Temptation creates this craving. Once it creates this craving, right, it comes to become a distraction. And this distraction forms what we're going to call an anticipation. Dopamine is not necessarily the hormone that gives you pleasure, it's the anticipation of the pleasure. So you have to understand this very clearly. The pleasure here, the anticipation of the pleasure. You know that you're going to get something. And then comes the reward. And this is really essential for our survival. But the thing is, with this loop right here, this dopamine loop, which I call it's times 100, endless. You keep on hopping on this cycle of loop of distraction, see the distraction, acting on it, and then you get the reward. But when you get the reward, you go back to the temptation again the next day or the next hour. It comes back. It's not because you're broken, but because of modern society, how everything is out there to get your attention. And the thing about it, it's instant. It's about the time. It's just about the time and the difficulty of the task. A lot of things like video games and porn, these things are easy and hedonistic. They don't have much value. They are instant, like instant boosting. And that's why the reward feels so empty because it's the time and the effort required to put in it. You look at the ancient hunter gatherers. These people, they had to go through so much effort just to procure or get one berry or to kill one animal. The physicality requires the teamwork, the coordination to start a fire, to build a home, and every single thing. But now we have all these things. So I'm gonna go to the next topic here, which is the brain. And let's talk about the factors of distractions. Why do you constantly feel distracted? Why can't you just resist it? Sometimes it's rather because of our brains. Look, we are filled with so many temptations, and it's partially because of the choices that we have and the comfort that we have. Because these kinds of things like this is what is going to fill our brains with more ease, more choices, and the dopamine starts to come in. And because of this, because we have so much choice and so much comfort, that leads to a certain amount of boredom. And we can't deal with this, right? Now we cannot deal with boredom. I see people all the time, they're always on their smartphones here, just scrolling, scrolling, and scrolling. It feels like you're doing something, but you're actually not. But because you're bored, you have nothing much better to do. So now, some solutions to overcome distraction. You just have to acknowledge it. Distractions are always there. Temptation never goes away. It's always there and has always been there. And what separates the difference between people who can manage distractions better, who not fall into doing distractions and it turning into an addiction matters, is how you control temptation. And this is very key. So I'm going to give very simple steps that you can do. You can actually learn to apply these in your life. I'm not kidding you. You can start to do it right now. First is self awareness. This is the first part that you have to do. And it's very important. A lot of people say self awareness. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I know. I know that I'm distracted by this. I know I have this addiction. No, that's not deep enough. You have to question yourself upon a few things. Why? Why is it that you're committing this act? Why is it that you're doing this? Why is it that you're getting distracted? It can be so many things. Your environment, maybe. Maybe it's your phone. I want you to identify why. Why you do this. What is the motivating fuel or the motivating factor or the tempting factor that causes you to do this? Very simple. I want you to write it out in a book. Writing is the best way to do it. Just write it down. I don't care. Or type it out. It's the clearest thing to type it out. And then you can remind yourself of it. And you can learn to look at patterns. Pattern recognition is so important and so key. You repeated this so many times, but you never wanted to figure out why. Look at the patterns. The next time you do something, or you want to fall back into that distraction or that addiction, look at why you do it. Because it's very important. Once you realize the pattern, you can try to break that pattern. So it can be because of your environment. Look, you can't start it because of your environment. Your TV's in the bedroom. So what you can do? Well, change the environment. If you can't change yourself, then at least change the environment. Maybe study in the library, study with people that are going to guide you, or it's the environment that primes you up for success. This is a psychological thing. And with your phone, the same thing too. If you have your phone beside you, then give it to someone else. Give it to a person you trust. Just give your phone to that person, or just put the phone in another bedroom, or put a lock screen on it, or whatever. Next is very simple. Next is to start to do the 5 minute rule and learn to build upon it. Because at first, maybe you can't focus on the task. So many distractions, right? So I want you to pick something, pick maybe your schoolwork and just focus on it for 10 minutes straight. No matter what it is, you have to force or coerce yourself to do it because it's a you thing. It's you are the problem and you have to solve it because nobody's here to come to save your ass. So you have to learn to apply this. Once you go with the 5 minute rule, then you can go with 10, 15. You build up upon it. After 5 minutes, if you think you can focus a task on 5 minutes without any distractions, then great. Go to 10 and know that, okay, maybe my limit is 1 hour. That's it. After 1 hour, I'm back to this. Great. Now, do you want to improve upon this? You can stay here, but for better, you can improve to 2 hour focus and maybe add a break in between. Of course, moderation is key. So 2 hours of focus. How can you go from here to here? So now back to the self-awareness thing. Why is it that you want to get to 2 hours? How is it that I'm going to get to 2 hours? So it can be really, really simple things like changing your environment per se, putting your phone away, or it can be literally any other thing. So you have to figure this out yourself because this is kind of like self discovery and knowing what works for you because what works for you may not work for another person. Number three is to value boredom. Okay, I'll rephrase this. Maybe not boredom, I would say silence and tranquility. Silence and tranquility is key. Learn to value silence. Your mind doesn't need to be stimulated all the time. It doesn't have to be stimulated all the time. It's not like a need. If you understand this, your mind sometimes also needs silence, and silence is also very beneficial. Because if you drown in too much of the distractions, too much stimulation, constant bombardment of things coming here, 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 your mind is not going to react well to that. Rather, leave some room for silence and solitude. It can be a 10-minute walk. This is what I do. I take 10-minute walks every time after lunch, after dinner. Go to somewhere quiet, can be a room or outside the nature, whatever it is, just take a walk. It doesn't have to be walks, it can be literally just meditating or journaling or just writing something down or playing the piano, playing an instrument, listening to music. And this can give you room for silence and your brain to rewire and reset because your brain can't be overcrowded or overdrowned with too many distractions. It's not good in the long term. So silence is very underrated and also boredom sometimes because a lot of people don't have the skill to be alone in solitude or to just find some time out of the day to value boredom and silence or peace and tranquility. Number four, what we're going to talk about is make your life better, or rather to find a purpose in life. Because this is very important. Distractions ultimately they are symptoms that come from a lack of purpose. Let me say this again. So very easy to improve your life, just make your life better. Make your life more amazing. I promise you. Find things to do. Find what you're interested in genuinely. And it doesn't have to be something that you have to work hard, you have to put in the hours. It can be literally with family too. Can be spending more time with family, loved ones. Fill that time up, that little time up. Just ask yourself, why do I live? What do I live for? This is more of an introspective thing. You find out, why is it that my life is worth living? Why is it that I want to live? To be a better human, to care for my family, for my loved ones, and also to identify problems in your life. To make your life better, to find your purpose, it's also about identifying problems. It's all about enriching your life. Look, problems are the number one key priority that you have to be on the lookout for. So you list the problems that you have in your life. You list all of them out, all of them. One, two, three, four, five, I don't care how many, you can journal them. I want you to pick one problem. It always works. Pick one problem out of the long list and then start to identify how can I solve that problem. Tie that to the awareness, self-awareness, because of my environment and the phone. So that's why I emphasize a lot on this one. This number one is what sets the foundation for all of these things. If you don't have self-awareness and you try these things, you don't understand yourself well enough, and you know what's going to happen? Right? Nothing will happen. No improvement will be made because you keep repeating the same things, but you don't realize your mistake. You don't realize where you're doing wrong, what went wrong, and what could be done better about yourself. So, very simple. Distractions are part of life, and you don't want to get rid of them. You want to learn to battle the temptation against it, and you want to be self-aware of your distractions. You have to know what is it that fuels me to indulge in these things in the distraction. So that's it. Hope you guys gained some insight. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.